It's Cowboy Jobu here with the Jobu Report, and as always, thank you for watching, subscribing, and commenting on the Jobu Report. And if you haven't yet, be sure to click on the picture of me and Sean Lee, the NFL's #2 leading tackler. Well, it seems like Jerry Jones just likes to stir shit up. So let's go to First Take and see what they have to say about Jerry Jones stirring it up.
Jerry truly is the gift that keeps on giving during this holiday season. Now listen to this. You can't make it up. In a recent interview with the Wall Street Journal, Jones admits to intentionally fueling the quarterback controversy in Dallas because it creates storylines and drama. That's one of the things that makes sports interesting. I do feed that. Max, if you're Dak Prescott, what should you think about this?
Well, first of all, I don't know if I believe Jerry Jones. It's human nature. Look, sometimes we have this like a piece of behavior in our own life. And after the fact, we try to figure out why we did something. And so we map on these reasons in retrospect. Well, I did this because of that, as though it followed this very logical cause and effect pattern and we had it planned out, when in reality, if you really think about it, no, we didn't. We don't know. There are reasons we did it, but it wasn't those reasons. Just now it makes sense that we said that. And I think he's embarrassed by the fact that he caused this controversy. And now I think Jerry Jones is making this up. At least, maybe not intentionally lying or anything, just mapping on reasons that would make sense now, given what's happened, whether that's conscious or unconscious. That's the first thing I would think if I were Dak Prescott. The next thing I would think is, if this dude is telling the truth, and that's the way he intends, or that's the kind of leadership he wants to show for this franchise as the owner, who also likes to be called coach and is the self-appointed GM, although we know his son now, thankfully for the Cowboys fans, has much more influence on personnel decisions, then I would say, what kind of way is that to lead? If we are to take Jerry Jones at his word, why should leadership be rooted in sowing dissension and falsehoods, right? Why isn't it rooted in integrity and truthfulness? Like if you look at the way Greg Popovich leads the Spurs, he doesn't need to rely on dishonesty as the root of the leadership in order to stir things up. What kind of leadership is that? So I would say, I don't think he really knows why he said it in fact. So I would say that the first explanation, I don't even take at face value. But if you are to take it at face value, it's even worse for Jerry Jones, because then he's just a bad leader.
Well, listen, you sound like Dear Abby right now. Let me be very, very clear about that. And I understand where you're coming from, but damn, the bottom line is it's far more simpler than you explained. Jerry Jones was trying to sabotage Dak Prescott. He wants Tony Romo up in there. Now, my man Michael Irvin, Mr. Pom Pom himself, because I thought that he had a lot more objectivity about the Dallas Cowboys in years past. He always has. But this year, he seems to be caught up in the pom-poms on, which is understandable because that's who he was a Hall of Famer for, the Dallas Cowboys. But it's still sickening to hear the playmaker, just bloviate about them. Having said all of that, he tried to make the point Jerry Jones is just playing games here because he's trying to elevate Tony Romo's value around the league to give the impression that he's far, far more valuable than people realize, so he could get something in exchange for Tony Romo.
If that was the case,
listen,
that would make sense to me.
Let me tell you why it doesn't make sense. Because him talking about Tony Romo doesn't speak louder than Tony Romo's resume. He's 78-49 as a starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys in his NFL career. That would speak volumes for Tony Romo, not Jerry Jones pontificating about him. We don't need to hear Jerry Jones on that. Jerry Jones knows this. Jerry Jones was trying to sabotage Dak Prescott. Jerry Jones, I'm not saying he wanted the kid hurt. He knows the kid is his future. And not only that, Jerry Jones, I'm not being as insidious as that to say that he would wish some physical harm to a person. I would never be that irresponsible. What I am saying is, if there was a way, in Jerry Jones' mind, if there were a way for him to win that coveted and evasive Super Bowl with Tony Romo as his quarterback instead of Dak Prescott, he'd take it any day of the week and twice on Sundays. That's who we're listening to when we're listening to Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones wants Tony Romo to be that quarterback. He does not want this team to win the Super Bowl without Tony Romo on the field. He doesn't want Tony Romo on the sidelines for
Are
the
you
Super Bowl
saying he would rather not win the Super Bowl and win it without?
No.
So his first priority is win the Super Bowl.
First priority is win.
Then it's win with Romo.
There you go. That's exactly what I'm saying.
The problem is when you take your eye off the ball like that, you don't win the Super Bowl.
I think it's win with Romo, and then I think it's win the Super Bowl.
No. It's not win. No. He doesn't want to sacrifice a Super Bowl championship for Romo. But if he could
he'll wind up doing so.
If he could have, that's right.
He can't get out of his own way.
But if he could have the Super Bowl and Romo, that would be ideal. Most owners are like this. give it to me any way I can get it. I can give a damn. No. Jerry wants Romo
So
to
you
be
believe
that
him,
guy.
that he truly feels this way, that
That's
he's
right.
intentionally fueling them?
Absolutely.
The reason-
He's lying, and I'm going to say he's lying. He wants Tony Romo up in there. This is not a game to him. Every day that Dak Prescott goes out there and performs lights out, it is a thorn in Jerry Jones' side to some degree because he loves it, but it's
Here's the problem with Jerry
bittersweet
Jones.
because he wants Romo in there.
Here's the problem with Jerry Jones.
Period.
He's not that good. He's not good enough to get away with that, to try to win in a certain way. Let me tell you, the greatest owner in the history of American team sports by far, and I love Steinbrenner, I'm a Yankees fan, but it's clearly the late, great Dr. Jerry Buss. That guy won 10 championships in like 30 years and was in like 5 others. And he was able to not only win and really overtake the Celtics as the dynasty in that sport, but do it in a certain way. He actually said, I need this to be entertainment. I need it to be showtime. Almost anyone else who ever lived can't do both. You can't become the great championship dynasty and do it with a certain brand that you want to promote. That's impossible. Only Dr. Jerry Buss has been able to do it. Jerry Jones ain't Jerry Buss. He's not a pale imitation of Jerry Buss. He can't win the Super Bowl since he was able to manipulate the salary cap by ushering in the era of the salary cap, followed by manipulating the rules by inventing, because he is a brilliant businessman, obviously, inventing the prorated bonus structure, getting around the cap. Since he manipulated that, he hasn't won a single Super Bowl under rules that treat all the teams evenly and fairly. Hasn't been able to do it. So he's not even good enough as an owner to win a Super Bowl under the current structure, let alone to try to do it a
I'd
certain
love
way.
to know how
But
the
again,
locker room feels
but-
about this.
Listen, we don't know. They're not going to admit anything because they're winning. And why upset the apple cart? But if you're Dak Prescott, why say anything or feel anything? Because there's nothing you can do about what he feels, but you can do everything about what he does by going out there and performing because you've got Cowboys Nation behind you. Plus, you've got that offensive line and Ezekiel Elliott to buffer you to the point where even Des Bryant is sitting up there going like this because you understand the train that y'all are rolling on right now. But make no mistake about it. This is not a ploy. Jerry Jones wants Tony Romo in there. Jerry Jones is smart enough not to do harm to his meal ticket for the future. But if Jerry Jones had his way, Tony Romo would be the quarterback. Just the other day, there was some event going on. I don't know whether it was high school or college.
He was at the game.
And who was sitting next to him? Who was sitting next to him?
Tony
It was
Romo,
Romo, his
Jerry Jones,
adopted son. They hang together. They eat dinner together. They socialize.
you just
They're
wanna
on the
root for
phone
Dak
together.
more so,
Let me
though.
tell you something right now. I'll tell you something right now. Tony Romo loves this man, and this man loves Tony Romo like a son. It's nothing negative against Dak Prescott, but this man wants Romo in the worst way.
Will he one day love Dak Prescott like a son?
Listen, I don't think you'll love.
That might be once in a lifetime
This is a romance thing.
He's got love for the
think that
playmaker.
could be
Listen,
replicated,
what you say?
though.
He's got love for the playmaker. He might have some love for prime time, little love for Emmitt Smith and all of those guys. But there's something special about
looks like
particular
Aikman got too much
relationships.
love for him right now.
Well, but there's something special about particular relationships. I'm not saying he's not gonna love Dak Prescott, but Dak Prescott will never be Tony Romo.
Listen, they
Be
can
clear.
Especially if he wins a Super Bowl,
There
it'll
you
never
go.
be Tony Romo.
There you
They
go.
can relish in the fact they've made a lot of money together. Probably not win a chip.